Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk, providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's go ahead and get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures down 0.36%, Dow futures up 0.04%, and NASDAQ futures down 1.09%. Futures mostly edged lower, and Treasury yields climbed higher ahead of a key Federal Reserve meeting at which officials will deliver their outlook for the economy amid a budding recovery that risks stoking inflation. Fuel cell firm Plug Power dropped over 20% in pre-market today after the company disclosed accounting errors. And Samsung Electronics warned that it's grappling with the fallout from serious imbalance in semiconductors globally. With the global recovery gaining traction, the Fed's policy and outlook updates due out today take center stage. The Treasury 10-year yield is trading near 1.65%, heading into day two of the Fed's meeting after a 20-year bond auction drew strong demand. Market implied inflation expectations are currently at a 12-year high, and meanwhile, the dollar has edged higher versus most major currencies. Elsewhere in markets, WTI crude oil reversed a gain after the IEA said markets aren't on the verge of a new price supercycle. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 is trading lower. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news? Excuse me. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning. They've been flat. They've been, absolutely directionless. But now I see that they're actually down 0.27. Not a big surprise. You're going into an event that's a little unknown, so there's always cautiousness going into an event such as what we have today with the FOMC announcement coming at 2 p.m. Eastern time today. The key issue really here is the Federal Reserve's that statement they're going to make. I mean, everyone's expecting them to come out with new economic projections, and the GDP growth is likely to be a blowout number when they come out and make this announcement at 2:00. So it's going to be a key one to watch today, and especially this afternoon. You're going to see a lot of activity this afternoon. I'm also watching oil. The demand is really unlikely to recover until 2023. That's still 2 years out. You look at the compliance data. Are the OPEC nations in compliance? No, they're over compliance by about 20%. And then you get the shale guys ready to start producing. So we could lead to additional supply in the market, which would, push oil prices lower. But that's what I'm watching this morning, Shane.
Well, let's look at earnings to watch today. I saw that CrowdStrike was looking definitely higher. Tell us about it, Bill.
Well, CrowdStrike, they beat by 5 cents on higher revenue. But the key was that they also raised guidance. That's why you up 2.5% this morning. Smart Street, this is SMAR. I mentioned this yesterday. This is really one to watch. They delivered a 9-cent beat on higher revenue, and they also delivered positive guidance. You see that stock up 2% this morning. Linear, we spoke about this. They delivered an earnings beat of $1.49 on higher revenue. Stock was trading over 90 earlier this morning. It's since pulled back, but that was a nice earnings play. And this morning, Land's End, that's ticker LE, Larry Edward, they delivered a 5-cent beat on higher revenue with positive guidance. And you see the stock is up 3.69% this morning.
Well, let's talk insights as far as upcoming earning announcements.
Well, I'm still watching this Five Below, ticker FIVE, Frank India Victor Edward. Price for a move of 10.8% when the earnings come out. That January 12th comment where they said net holiday sales had jumped 21%, and they mentioned earnings per share between $2.07 to $2.22, with revenue going to be in the range of 835 to 840 million. That's a big number. That's a big number for them. So, we're keeping an eye on shares of Five Below on their earnings, which are coming out this afternoon. I also noticed Miller Herman, their price for a 12% move when they release earnings this afternoon. That's ticker MLHR, Michael, Larry, Henry, Richard. It's an office furniture maker. They're really hoping they have had great year because people have been buying their office furniture for their home offices. And that's really been a benefit for them. And the key is, will people continue to buy office furniture when they start getting back to the offices? We're going to have to wait and see what happens there. Williams Sonoma, it's priced for an 8.35% move. I'm a little cautious here. That's all I can say. I'm a little cautious here. ACN, they're posed for a move of 4.5% when they release tomorrow morning. So, these are some earnings to be watching, keep an eye out for and to watch.
Yeah, definitely. So I know everyone's waiting for what to hear on this Fed meeting, but what else are we seeing as far as reports today, Bill, looking at economic reports?
Well, at 8:30 this morning, we have the housing starts and permit. This is a big one. This is really an economic indicator. It really tells you whether the housing market is on solid footing or not. At 10:30, we have the very important EIA stockpiles report. This is going to tell you, are we adding to the stockpiles? Are we removing from the stockpiles? It's going to be very interesting. It'll help make the direction of oil later this morning. And then, of course, at 2 o'clock, you have the Fed announcement. And at 2:30, it's going to be followed by Jerome Powell's press conference. And he's going to be peppered on questions about the recent rise in treasury yields.
We're moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Tesla, ticker TSLA, which is, according to one fund's manager and their expression on CNBC this morning, trading in a bubble and expected to go down. Tesla is down 3.70% so far in pre-market. One on Alibaba, ticker BABA. Alibaba is planning to offer its bargains service on the WeChat messaging platform of competitor Tencent Holding as a concession to the Chinese government, which is seeking to curb the monopolistic behavior of technology companies. Alibaba's share price is down 0.76% in pre-market. In other news, Lumentum, ticker LITE, has revised its consideration to acquire Coherent, ticker COHR, to $275 a share for a total value of $6.9 billion. This has got to be like the third time they've done this. In other news, Apple, ticker AAPL, Apple says that its newly completed renewable projects, part of the company's planned $4.7 billion green bond spend, is helping to create 1.2 gigawatts of clean power to local communities while reducing carbon emissions. One on CareDx, that's ticker CDNA. CareDx has acquired software company BFS Molecular for an undisclosed amount. Last one for me, Merck, ticker MRK. Its treatment Keytruda has received an expanded label from the European Commission, so that's good news for them. What are you seeing this morning as far as morning news, Bill?
Shane, I break my news down into alerts. I have them on sectors, I have them on events. It just really works to kind of give me that edge when I'm looking to find those hot stories every morning. I have my thing alert. I see Apple scored a big legal win in France over app privacy changes. Google is reducing their cut, what they take for selling apps in Apple Play Store. This is very significant because if Google is doing it, Apple probably has to make changes to their how they monetize apps in their store as well. Also, so Amazon's been mentioned by a number of different brokers with some positive comments today. So it's kind of positive for the share price of Amazon this morning. My Dow Jones 30 alert, the big one was Boeing. They're coming under increased scrutiny from U.S. regulators over the 787 plane. This is not good. Boeing's been kind of weak the last few days. It really jumped up to that high 278 level, and since it's pulled back down and now it's trading at the 250 level, it still could, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes a little lower from here. It's still a turnaround story, but it just got a little ahead of itself, I feel. That Merck story about the European Commission approving, Keytruda, that's a big story. This is a blockbuster drug for them, and Merck shares are very much underpriced right now, so I see this thing going back above 80 in the short term. Looking at some option headlines that came across the tape. General Motors, GM, 30-day option implied volatility is at 44 compared to the 52-week range of 39 to 188. Alibaba, ticker BABA, 30-day option implied volatility is at 37 compared to the 52-week range of 29 to 63. And Blink, BLNK, Boy, Larry, Nancy, Kilo, 30-day implied option volatility is 123. And this is compared to the 52-week range of 111 to 266. So yes, these are the options are trading on low implied volatility. My retail alert, I'm going to go with, let's talk about Uber for technologies for a minute, because it was really a major win for the unions. As Uber's more than 70,000 British drivers are now going to be paid minimum wage while picking up and driving passengers around. This comes after, the groundbreaking Supreme Court case last month. My secondary alert went off on Ruby, RUBY, Richard Under Boy Yellow. These guys have a $6.9 million secondary priced at $29. The deal size was increased from 150 to 200 million. That's not good for shares of RUBY. CFX, Charlie Frank X-Ray, that's Colfax. They announced a $14 million share secondary, and it's being priced at $46 a share. My dividend alert, JP Morgan went off. They declared a quarterly dividend of 90 cents. Microsoft went off on this alert as well, as they declared a dividend of 56 cents. Key events today, Starbucks, SBUX. They're holding their annual shareholders meeting today. And Cooper Companies, that's ticker COO, Charlie Oscar Oscar. They're also having their annual shareholders meeting today. And, Micron shares are trading off this morning off of that semiconductor news you mentioned earlier. But let's just remember, earnings are next week. So this kind of weakness could be, a nice opportunity as we head into the earnings for Micron. And that's what I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Let's go ahead and move into our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm going with Accenture, ticker ACN. This is an earnings play. Accenture's it's got earnings announcement tomorrow morning before the open, and it's got an EPS estimate of $1.90 higher. So it's looking like a good move for them, and I think we can expect to see some momentum today going into it. What's your pick looking like?
I'm looking at Starbucks. It's ticker SBUX, Sam Boy Under X-Ray. I look at this thing, and they have their annual shareholders meeting today. And I wouldn't be surprised if, the talk kind of centers around a jolt that they could be getting from the stimulus checks and restaurants reopening. I'm looking for some positive news out of this shareholders meeting today. And, I think it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be waiting for a dip sometime in the morning to kind of pick some of these shares up. I'm looking to get in at the 110 level and 110, 110.50 and ride this thing a little higher today.
Well, moving into what's hot off the press, talking about the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. Bill, looking at our newswire alerts, seeing the headlines that are streaming in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about?
Well, let's talk about GM. There's U.S. auto safety regulators that reviewed evidence of alleged defective steering sensor used in approximately 778,000 older GM models. But it's a formal investigation of the matter for the time being.
Here's an interesting one on eBank, ticker EBON. eBank's completed a 6nm ASIC chip designed for Bitcoin mining machines.
Let's talk more about chips. Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are designing specialty chips. It's going to be for their cloud business. Vodafone, ticker VOD, Victor Oscar David. They're reportedly going to reap about 2.13 billion euros from the Frankfurt IPO.
One on GAN, ticker GAN. They've entered into a simulated gaming solution agreement with Gila.
Ticker HST, Hot Sam Tom, Host Hotels. They're acquiring Hyatt Regency in Austin for approximately 161 million in cash. Ford, ticker F, Ford Motor is pricing an offering of $2 billion, 0% convertible senior notes due in 2026.
Tonix Pharmaceuticals, ticker TNXP, has just announced reports of their COVID-19 vaccine efficacy results, and it looks like this was mostly positive for them.
Here's an interesting one. MKC, Cormac, Michael Kilo Charlie. They just got cut by an analyst firm to hold from buy. This was really a COVID play. McCormick is a spice maker, and with the economy opening up, less people are going to be buying spices for home. So, they cut their rating from buy to hold on ticker MKC. But it's kind of a telltale sign of the industry in the next 6 months.
One on Tyson Foods, ticker TSN. They're expanding their case-ready meat production with South Carolina plant. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing right now.
Same here. So that'll do it for us as far as what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind the same breaking stories that we receive, you can receive just like us simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. It will definitely up your trading game. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Dick's Sporting Goods, ticker DKS, opened at $76.36 and ended up remaining flat and closing just a little bit higher at $76.58. So we made a gain, although it was about 0.28% of a gain, but still up as far as that move went. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, I did Five Below yesterday, ticker FIV. This stock opened up at 197.03 yesterday morning. And, within minutes, it was trading within like 15 minutes, it already broke the $1 mark that we were shooting for. And it actually went higher. It traded up to 201. So you look at that, that's a $4 gain within 15 minutes. It was a good win.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.